Do you find yourself taking care of everyone else first and neglecting your own self-care? Or are you restless and struggling or beaten down and that you know you need a better mindset? Well, today I'm going to explain my second pillar, self. I'm Debbie Reynolds, and I want to thank you for joining me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so we can stay connected. And the three things that we're going to discuss today are: number one, the importance of self-care; two, why mindset is so important; and three, how you can begin to improve in those areas of your life. First of all, self-care. My guess is that most of you engage in very little self-care, and if you're like the majority of us, you find time for very few things that fall into the self-care category. You're at your job or running kids here and there, or cooking or cleaning and doing all the things that busy and on-the-go people do. You've got to be intentional about planning for your self-care until it eventually becomes a habit. Do you take time on a regular basis to read or to meditate or to take a walk or to journal or to take a class that you're truly interested in? Or do you make sure that you have a very satisfying social life, or time for a good relaxing bath before you go to bed at night, or go to a movie? Whatever it is that recharges your battery and nurtures your soul, it's time to start. One reason why people don't engage in self-care is because back in the day when I was born, if you talked about self-care, or God forbid you do anything indicating self-care or self-love, you were labeled as arrogant or stuck on yourself, and it was almost sinful. Go figure. But in my family, I heard some of the most snarly and snarky comments about people who actually took and exercised self-care. Now, in hindsight, I recognize that many of those comments came from someone who had very little self-love. Are self-love and self-care related? Connected? Yeah, they are, and we'll learn how. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give others what you don't have. And I'm sure you've heard the analogy a million times of when you're on an airplane listening to the pre-flight instructions that in case of emergency, to put your own oxygen mask on first. Why? So you can have an oxygen supply that enables you to save yourself, to help others in exchange, and to be able to think clearly. So this year we're going to explore self-care and the necessity for it. Second thing is your mindset. Man, I bet I could stop right there and you'd all know exactly what I'm talking about. Mindset is a tough one for most people, and depression and anxiety are more prevalent in our society today than ever before. It's so sad. But how do you view yourself? Do you feel worthy? Are you enough? Do you feel like you have value? Is your mind filled with fear or with faith? One popular quote is that the only limits we have are the ones we put on ourselves. So are you putting limits on yourself based on false beliefs that you have about yourself, or are you moving forward in life with a can-do attitude? There's a huge difference. And here again, having a positive mindset will require some stretching, some growing, and some intentional effort. There's that word again. But the result is so worth it. Growth and mindset adjustment are not easy. It's far easier to stay stuck and live your life on autopilot, but that's not very fulfilling. So you want a good life or a great life? Well, you're going to have to replace your stinking thinking, and we're going to work on that this year. And here's perhaps the scariest thing you're going to hear all day. You are the only thinker of your thoughts. Now let that sink in a minute. Some of you may want to go jump in bed, cover up completely, and stay curled up in a ball for the rest of the day. Seriously, don't do that. We're going to work on all of this together. And there's a lot we can do about it. The third point is that we will tell you ways that you can enhance and level up your self-care and your mindset. Awareness is the starting point. So what you're aware of, you can affect or impact. Without awareness, nothing's going to change. So the point of this pillar self is for you to become a better version of yourself, not overnight, unfortunately, but with small, consistent baby steps over time. Most of us realize that we're not living or performing at our peak levels, or we're not happy with ourselves. We are impacted and encouraged by the thoughts and ideas of others who are working on the same things that we are, only they've been working at it a little bit longer and are much farther down the path. They've got experience and or wisdom to share with us. So I want you to have the benefit of some of my experiences. I mean, some are good and some of them really suck. And the wisdom of others who are on the same journey, but again, they started sooner. They've gotten farther, but that's okay. It all starts with you right where you are. It starts with your awareness and your desire. And we're going to end this year at an elevated level by working on self. Now, one of my favorite things I've ever heard is from Ona Brown, and she's the daughter of the very famous motivational speaker Les Brown. And Ona said, we need to wake up every morning and say, God, help me to see the truth about myself today, no matter how amazing that is. Wouldn't that be incredible? I mean, I want all of us to have that mindset, because I want you to live your best life. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and put mindset in the comments to receive a free PDF on improving mindset. So until next time, have a great week and God bless.